Prosecutors are investigating the crash landing of a crippled Russian airliner in the northwest of the country. All 81 people on board had a miraculous escape when the plane overshot an abandoned airstrip on Tuesday and slammed into surrounding trees. Tom Barton is at the Moscow airport where the plane had been due to land. So, Tom, what in this case are the latest details?
Well, the first we heard of it, Rory, was just that there'd been a crash landing somewhere in the northwest of Russia, in the Taiga. We've since heard a lot more details come out. This flight was on its way from the Far East inbound to Moscow. It was about 4 hours into that 6-hour flight when suddenly the plane suffered a massive electrical fault. That electrical fault shut down the plane's navigation system, its communication systems with air traffic controllers, the fuel pumps from the main fuel tanks to the tanks which supply the engines, and also some of the air braking flaps on the plane. The pilots then realised because the fuel pumps had stopped, they had to land very quickly. So searching around purely visually on the Taiga forest beneath, they found a small abandoned airstrip in a very rural, remote region. They tried to locate the approach to this airstrip 3 times, circling round, and they eventually managed to put the plane down. But because the airstrip wasn't big enough for a plane of this size, and because the plane was going too fast because its air brakes weren't working well enough, the plane overshot and went 200 meters into trees beyond the runway. After all this, not a single person was hurt. The local fire brigade came and everyone got off the plane safely.
Now, Tom, this really is being billed as an extraordinary feat of flying, isn't it?
It is, Rory. These 2 pilots, to pull this off without hurting anyone, people are calling them heroes, first local bloggers, and then all over the internet, people saying they should be awarded medals when they come back to Moscow. It's also being compared to an incident last year in the Hudson River in America when a pilot, his engines having failed, the engines didn't fail on this plane, but he had to put his plane down in the Hudson River. This incident, similar, not quite the same. They managed to get their plane down in very difficult circumstances. An avionics expert that we spoke to earlier gave us some more comparison about these 2 incidents.
I believe in both cases, crew really had to push it beyond the envelope, as they say. They really had to demonstrate the very high professionalism. But we have to keep in mind that in case of the miracle on Hudson River, there was not just an electric, but a total power failure. Actually, the aircraft was not flying, it was just gliding to the surface of the river. In the case of Tupolev 154, the aircraft still had its engines on, so I wouldn't call it crash landing. So if A320 did a crash landing in Hudson River, Tupolev 154 did a control landing, although in a very hard conditions.
So Yuri Kazaj there, a pilot himself, saying that it was a controlled landing under very difficult circumstances. Investigators are now looking at the scene of the controlled landing of that landing, trying to establish what went on, what might have caused the error. All of the passengers now safely back in Moscow. When they've debriefed the authorities, the pilots themselves will return, no doubt, to a hero's welcome.
All right, a good result for all of those on board. RT's Tom Barton there.